This is the L2C Media Network, and this, believe it or not, is the STEV BAXLEY Sports Final. And with all the details, the headlines, and everything else, in a wild Sunday of sports, here's our man, Steve the Baxman BAXLEY. Hello, good evening, welcome, everybody. Hello. Welcome, everybody, to the only show that dares to be different, that dares to be at least a little bit unconventional, like the hair, which is yet to be cut, and it's going to get cut, or I'm going to rip it out. Every strand. Oh, boy. Anyway, let's get on with this little showboat that we love to call a Sunday in sports, unlike any other Sunday in the free world. And can we get that light just a little nubble there? Okay, thank you. Let's do this thing. We'll go for it, man. Let's do it. It is. And I'm going to say this. It has been a wild and crazy, yes, I'm going to say crazy day in sports. Want proof? Let's take you to the NFL scores. Put a promo up, but, well, it's been a long day, and I'm having a lot to think about between now and tomorrow. We're going to have there's a little reason we started late tonight. And sort of like we're going to have somebody over here. So we didn't have the two shows on Spreaker. We're going to do those next week. Anyway, let's get to the mini show here, our mini little football review. And we begin this time with the Vikings and Lions. And the Lions needed this win badly. Unfortunately, they didn't get it. And oh boy, you're going to love this score. Vikings 34, Lions 20. The rabbi almost hit on the nose again. Stafford 211 yards, 1 touchdown. Swift 13 rushing attempts for 64 yards. Amendola received or had 7 receptions for 77 yards. Meanwhile, on the other side of the coin, Kirk Cousins, former Michigan State Spartan, 220 yards and 3 touchdowns. Cook was a real chef, 22 rushing attempts for 206 yards, 2 touchdowns. And Jefferson was moving on up to the east side to a deluxe apartment in the Sky I with 3 receptions, 64 yards. Chiefs beat the Panthers by a deuce, 33-31. Bridgewater, 310 yards, 2 touchdowns. McCaffrey, 18 rushing attempts, 69, because it's a workable number, and a touchdown. And Samuel, 9 receptions, 105 yards, and a touchdown. For the other side, that's the Chiefs. Mahomes, 372 yards, 4 touchdowns. Edwards, hell yeah, 5 rushing attempts, 14 yards. And Kelsey, 10 receptions for 159 yards. Let's keep going on this. Ravens beat the Colts 24-10. Jackson, 170 yards passing. Also 13 rushing attempts for 58 yards and 1 touchdown. Boyle, 4 receptions, 46 yards. And the Colts. Rivers, 227 yards. Wilkins, 11 rushing attempts for 39 yards. And Pittman, 4 receptions, 56 yards. Bills beat up on the Seahawks. What is going wrong with the Seahawks? 44-34. Wilson, 390 yards, 2 touchdowns. Dallas, 7 attempts, 31 yards, and a touchdown. Metcalf, 7 receptions, 108 yards, and a touchdown. For the Bills, Allen, 415 yards, 3 touchdowns. Moss, 9 attempts, 18 yards for 1 touchdown. Diggs, 9 receptions, 118 yards. Okay, Titans 24, Bears 17, and the Bears continue to be tepid. Foles, 335 yards and 2 touchdowns. Montgomery, 14 rushing attempts for 30 yards. Robinson, 7 receptions for 81 yards. Tannenhill, 158 yards and 2 TDs. Henry got 21 attempts rushing for 68 yards and really did a lot. 4 receptions, 101 yards, and a touchdown. Falcons, what is going on with them? They're on a hot streak, 34-27 over the Broncos. Locke was not a lock. He was 313 yards, 2 touchdowns. He also had 7 rushing attempts for the low price of 47 yards and a touchdown. Judy, 7 receptions, 125 yards and a touchdown. For the Falcons, Ryan, 284 yards, 3 touchdowns. Gurley was a manly man, 19 attempts, 53 yards and a touchdown. And Zacchaeus, 4 receptions, 103 yards and a touchdown. Texans over the Jaguars, 27-25. Watson, 281 yards, 2 touchdowns. Also, 10 rushing attempts, 50 yards. And Fuller had 5 receptions, 100 yards and a touchdown. The Jags, Luton, 304 yards and a touchdown. Robinson, 25 yards, 25 attempts for 99 yards and 1 touchdown. And Chark, 7 receptions, 146 yards and 1 touchdown. Giants over Washington, 23-20. Jones had 212 yards, 1 touchdown. Gallman, 14 rushing attempts of 68 yards and 1 touchdown. And Mac, 40. Hey, that would have been fun. Mac, 4 receptions, 72 yards. For Washington, Smith, 325 yards and a touchdown. Gibson, 6 attempts, 20 yards and a touchdown. And McLaren, 7 receptions, 115 yards and a touchdown. Raiders over the Chargers, 31-26. Carr went beep, beep. 165 yards, 2 touchdowns. Booker, 8 rushing attempts, 68 yards, and a touchdown. And Renfro, 2 receptions, 60 yards. For the Chargers, Herbert, 326 yards, 2 touchdowns. Balaj, 15 attempts, 69 yards, and a touchdown. Allen, 9 receptions, 103 yards, and a touchdown. For the Dolphins and the Cardinals, Dolphins squeak out a win, 34-31. Tagovailoa, 248 on the yards, 2 touchdowns. Ahmed, 7 attempts, 38 yards. And Parker, 6 receptions, 64 yards. Cardinals, Murray, 283 yards, 3 touchdowns. He also had 11 rushing attempts for 106 yards and a touchdown. And Kirk beamed up 5 receptions, 123 yards, and a touchdown. This is a Steelers beat the Cowboys for 8 times. Steelers 24, Cowboys 19, Roethlisberger 306 yards, 3 touchdowns. Connor 9 attempts, 22 yards. Smith Schuster 6 receptions, 93 yards, and a touchdown. For the Cowboys, Gilbert 243 yards, 1 touchdown. Pollard 9 attempts, 57 yards, and Lamb 4 receptions, 71 yards, and a touchdown. Saints bombed the Buccaneers, and I mean bombed. They embarrassed the hell. I won't say embarrassed. They neutered Tom Brady and company, 38-3. Breeze 222 yards, 4 touchdowns. Hill rushed for 7 attempts for 54 yards. Thomas 5 receptions, 51 yards. For the Buccaneers, Tom wasn't so terrific. Mr. Brady, 209 yards and nothing to show for it. Jones, 3 rushing attempts for 9 yards. And Evans, 4 receptions. 64 yards. It was wild, man, wild. It's scary. But week 9 ends with the Patriots and the Jets, and the way things are going, the Jets will beat the Patriots.
Is that lady supposed to be here in the afternoon?
And we're live. Thank you. Man. By the way, in the Lions game, I gotta tell you, we're going till about 1:45, 1:50 actually. So here we go, go. Lions, believe it or not, during Dalvin Cook's, we're going to tell it to you. They found a new level of stupidity. The Detroit Lions had plenty of embarrassing moments in the Matt Patricia era, but the franchise has reached a new low in Sunday loss to the Minnesota Vikings on Dalvin Cook's 70-yard touchdown run in the fourth quarter of the blowout 34-20 loss, which was on CBS and my favorite station, the station that's my official unofficial station, WLNS TV 6. Lions had just 10 men on the field prior to the snap. Cook's run put Minnesota up 34-13 with 10:42 left in the game, of the Vikings' first play of the drive sealed the Vic's touchdown run of the season, and the third run of 70's touchdown, easy peasy lemon squeezy for the NFL's rushing touchdown leader. And from reaching the end zone, wow. Cook finished with 225-plus scrimmage yards and 2+ rush touchdowns in consecutive games, joining only Deuce McAllister in 2003, and Hall of Famer Jim Brown, 1963, is the only other running back since 1950 to accomplish that feat. He also piled up 12 rushing touchdowns through 7 games, joining Priest Holmes and Sean Alexander as the only players to reach. Sell this disgrace. Because if you keep hiring inept people to run it, oh boy. Anyway, folks, we continue with the insanity that is this little. Here we go. Let's go to the 25 and number. So, and then I will do this as Casey Kasem. At number 25, number 23, Northwestern, number 22, Liberty, number 21, Texas, number 20, USC, number 19, SMU. And we have a letter here from a lovely lady who says, "Dear Casey, I love the show. My dog died. Oh, I'm sorry to hear that. And why is my wife throwing meat at reporters?" Number 18, Oklahoma. Okay, I'll stop doing the case in a bit. 17, Iowa State. 16, Marshall. 15, Coastal Carolina. 14, Oklahoma State. 13, Wisconsin. 12, Georgia. Oregon at 11, and now the top 10. Indiana at 10. Miami at 9. BYU at 8. Cincinnati at 7. Florida at 6. In 5th. Clemson in 4th. Ohio State in 3rd. Notre Dame in 2nd. And Alabama. That's right, Alabama, 59 first place votes. They are in the top Bowowski. So who dropped out? Boise State, Michigan. And who's disappeared? Who do you think? Michigan State. Ugh. All right. All right. And that's your top 25 for the week. Aren't you glad you're here? I know I am. Okay, let's keep going. Here we go. We got some hot stove rumors for you, kids. And here we go. While we're not in the full hot stove mode of the MLB offseason, we're working our way towards the point at which players begin to curse the day that a teleprompter was born. And or changing teams via free agency and trade. So to prime the pump for those days and weeks, let's get some of the rumors that are out there on this crazy Sunday, now early Monday. Onward, let's go to the muck. Cleveland is widely expected to trade all-star shortstop Francisco Lindor this offseason. He's going into his walk year in 2021, and the Dolan family has shown no willingness to invest in payroll at levels befitting a contender that hasn't won the World Series since 48. Should be noted, anyhow, it, of course, suits the team's interest. There's a healthy market for Lindor. On that front, a little nugget from John Morrissey from the MLB Network. I expect Francisco Lindor to be dealt this offseason, as Nightingale has reported. But I was told today a trade is unlikely to happen quickly. The Indians would love for the Mets to be heavily involved, but it will take time for a new front office to set priorities. Now, it won't be surprising if teams slow pay transactions of all kinds this offseason, given the still uncertain nature of the 2021 season. The same goes for a possible Lindor trade. The real takeaway is that Cleveland wants the Mets involved. Most teams are going to be loath to commit to big jumps in payroll this winter. And even a one-year commitment to a shining star like Lindor could give owners pause. That's not a justifiable stance on the part of those owners, but it's the current reality. New Mets owner Steve Cohen may be the exception that sets the market, and that's why Cleveland wants him in the mix. Wow. And how about this? Free agent center fielder. Free agent center fielder Jackie Bradley Jr. is perhaps seen his market develop here in the early weeks of the offseason. WEEI's Rob Bradford reports that, according to sources, the Red Sox have already reached out to Bradley about a possible reunion in Boston. As well, the Astros and an unnamed AL Central team have also got interest. The Astros would presumably have interest in him as a replacement for outgoing free agent George Springer, who may command more than he. Bradley, who remains in a defensive asset in center, is coming off a 2020 season in which he put up an OPS of 118 in 55 games. For his career, he owns an OPS of 94 across part of 831. We will go on. I will follow nobody until it's time. In the National Football League, there was one little incident that made us all chuckle, laugh, and of course make an occasional guffaw. Or is that guffaw? Um, in the Colts game, Philip Rivers, well, excuse him for not being the most mobile quarterback in the world, especially at the age of 38. Rivers made a tackle attempt many football fans can relate to late in the first quarter of the Indianapolis Colts matchup with the Baltimore Ravens. Colts running back Jonathan Taylor fumbled at the end of a 9-yard run as the strip was caused by Marcus Peters and was recovered by safety Chuck Clark. From there, Clark was off to the races down the right sidelines with just one man to beat, Rivers. And how did it go, you may ask? Rivers appeared to take an angle to try and stop Clark from his Ravens. Safe field over him for the score, which tied the game for Baltimore. Rivers is just one of six quarterbacks to throw 400 touchdown passes, but that tackle, yes, even making us do a chuckle. Okay. Now, are you ready? I am. Because NASCAR finally did something right with the NASCAR Cup Series, their first one with 4 sponsors, premium sponsors, yes. The chase was on, and Chase Elliott proved it. He won his first NASCAR Cup Series championship by winning the final race of the season at Phoenix. The 24-year-old became the 3rd youngest driver to win the title behind Jeff Gordon and Bill Rexford. Elliott took the lead from Joey Logano with 42 laps to go rather handily and drove on to take the checkered flag in his first championship 4 appearance. The number 9 started the race from the rear after failing pre-race inspection twice, but had no problem finding the speed to lead a race high 153 laps. This was the second straight race win for Elliott, who punched his ticket to the championship 4 by winning the round of 8 finale at Martinsville last week. Elliott finishes the season with a career high 5 race wins. He now has 11 win total in the Cup Series. NASCAR's most popular driver is the second person in his family to win a Cup title. Chase's dad, of course, Bill Elliott, won the championship in 1988. The Elliots become NASCAR's third father-son duo to win a title, joining the Pettys, Lee and Richard, and Jarrett's, Ned and Dale. Shortly after winning the title, Elliott was congratulated by 7-time champion and Hendrick Motorsports teammate Jimmy Johnson in a pass the torch moment. The two embraced on pit road after Elliott climbed out of the car. Johnson driver. He will now shift to the IndyCar folk. That's going to be fun. Let's see. Elliott said of the exchange with Johnson, "Those are moments you can only dream of. This is a dream. I'm just hoping I don't ever wake up." Johnson had this to say: "I'm so happy for that guy. To watch him grow up and be around him and to give him some advice from time to time has really been meaningful for me. Today, I think more about a championship than anything. It's pretty awesome." That's right. Now, Elliott explained the race that the last text message he read before getting into the car was from Johnson, providing encouragement with regard to number 9 starting from the rear. Elliott, who's been a lifelong Johnson fan, went on to say that his idol would go down in history as the greatest to ever race in NASCAR. With the help of Johnson's 7 titles and Elliott's first career title, Hendrick Motorsports has now won 50% of the past 26 Cup Series championships. Johnson, a surefire first ballot Hall of Famer, is certain to be elected in 2 years when he becomes eligible. Now, as for the other drivers wrapping their careers up, Clint Boyer finished 14th in his final full-time race in number 14 car before he goes to the Fox Sports NASCAR. Matt Kenseth, who came out of retirement to replace the suspended Kyle Larson, finished 25th in what may be his final race as well. In terms of the championship four drivers, they finished the race 1, 2, 3, 4 as Brad Keselowski finished runner-up ahead of Logano and Denny Hamlin. All four drivers ran up front throughout the race. Logano won stage 1, Keselowski won stage 2. Hamlin was the only driver not to lead a lap in the final race and remains one of the winningest drivers in NASCAR history without a title. Hamlin won 7 races this season, which was the second most in the series. Kevin Harvick had the most wins, taking 9 trips to victory lane. In the end, Harvick missed the championship 4 and finished 5th in the standings. Hamlin finished 4th. By completing the championship race, NASCAR became one of the few sports to run a full season despite the COVID-19 pandemic. The sport endured a brief shutdown from March to May, but by utilizing midweek races and one-day shows, the sport was able to complete its schedule, and we're proud. We're proud to hear. Now, while the COVID-19 pandemic led to its fair share of shutdowns, one thing can be far certain. The folks in Elliott's hometown of Dawsonville, Georgia, are celebrating as the infamous siren blares throughout the town as it has after every Chase and Bill Elliott win. And what a sound that made. But there you go. And that is your NASCAR report. Yes. Anywho. Okay, we are at 1:10. We got 20 minutes left. Let's say we just give the old cha-cha here and go check awfulannouncing.com. And here we go. This is going to be fun. Anyway. There we go. Okay, we got some awful announcing to give you. So here we go. awfulannouncing.com. Maybe we'll get some updates on a couple of things that we continue to work on. By the way, hi, how are you? I'm Steve, and you're watching the Sports Final, Steve BAXLEY Sports Final. I think we'll drop that and just call it the Sports Final. Why? Because, well, that'd be a bit more better and a bit more classy, don't you think? Yeah, I kind of agree with you. Anyway, can we lower that mic? I know I'm trying to adjust as I talk, and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 5 and 6 and 7 and 8. Can you tell we're waiting for awfulannouncing.com to get pumped up here so we can do a mighty speak in the passing of not only the greatest game show host of all time, but also one of the best comedians in the annals of comedy. Alex Trebek and Norm Crosby both died today. I can't wait for 2020 to be over. And I hope it ends shortly and soon. December 31st. And boy, I can't believe it. So, let's get to it. Connor Schell You're probably asking, who is this Connor Shell? Well, one of ESPN's most senior of leaders. The executive vice president of content, Connor Shell, will be leaving the company in the coming months. And a statement of a mutual parting is being worked on, while a mutual parting of the ways is often some heavy spin. This is indeed the case, as Shell is looking for a new challenge in which he's more directly involved in content creation as well as pursuing content projects outside the sports genre. Shell had begun discussing his departure as early as this summer, and he will continue in his role in the next few months. While Shell hasn't fully committed to starting his own production company, such a move is highly likely at this point. ESPN is said to be interested in working with Shell on future projects, which, when such a move is finalized. He was internally known as one of the key individuals involved for such projects like ESPN's ambitious Emmy and Oscar-winning OJ Made in America, and this spring's huge hit, The Last Dance, as well as other ambitious anthologies like College Football 150 and Basketball, A Love Story. He was also an important figure in the 30 for 30 series overall. In his summer 2017 promotion to EVP of Content, and one of ESPN's most important executives. When former ESPN President John Skipper resigned in December 2017, Shell was on the short list of internal individuals thought as possibilities to take over that role, which eventually went to Disney executive Jimmy Pitaro. Ha, 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 ha. That's my Mickey Mouse impression. Shell has been an internal champion, prestigious long-form projects, and seems to be zeroing in on capitalizing on the growing trend of longer docu-series. Recent shows like The Vow, Tiger King, and His Last Dance have all found success this past year. By leaving ESPN, Shell will be better able to pursue those type of projects. Hi, thank you. And be more hands-on. Additionally, this will allow him to pursue content topics beyond just sports, such as music, pop culture, and believe it or not, news. And what his departure will mean for ESPN in the coming days, we will find out. And we continue on our merry little chase in clock. We have 14 minutes left to go in our little rendezvous. So, 3 separate pregame shows all wound up with their analysts all picking the Bucs. ESPN, NBC, and the NFL Network's pregame show did a yuck for the Bucs. And right after NBC discussed the Bucs scoring on every goal-to-go situation this year, they didn't score one again, going against New Orleans. A boo, 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 who? Oh, boy, oh, boy, oh, boy. And the viewership, Packers Thursday night romp over an injury-ravaged 49ers was down just a bit. And that's about it for the awful announcing fandango tonight. So let's kick it around the old bourgeois and get some highs. Of course, hi to the boss of bosses here, Sharon BAXLEY, otherwise known as my mom. To Brenda Gaminsky, Michael Gaminsky, Patricia Ben. How are you all? To Angela Pearson, Christina Pearson, Jay the Brain Man, Anne Marie Man, Yuki Tanaka, Matthew, Matthew Nichols, Jerry Nichols, Nancy Nichols, Ricky Pickrell, Bobby Langford, Brenda Dixon, January, Jay Keaton, Yvonne Marie, Wesley Snell, Helena Boom Boom Kirby, Cassie Little, Vanessa Elise Messenger, Alan Oberoff, Mark Wilson, Claire Flannery, Ralph Gautier, Bobby Strauss, Zach McComber, Brian McFeeters, Todd Clamfer, Phil Monahan, Jacqueline Fleming, Johnny Spitfire, Sarah Chavez, Samantha Phillips, Samantha O'Neill, Casey Ann, Monica Graham, and a cast of silly thousands. That's right. Silly but good people. Kimberly Wells, Sandra Douglas, Vanessa Douglas, Sabrina Kyle, and of course, Sammy Phillips. We also say a gracious hello. Over there you are. It's good to see you. Courtney Pirna, hi. Kim Commando, hello. And hello to Crystal Hot. And by the way, that is some sandwich with a Budweiser. My kind of lady. Syria Fidel, how are you? Also, to the man himself, Mr. Richfields. And whom else do we say a big old hi-do to? Well, everybody on Facebook. How you doing? Okay, we've checked that. Let's Collins, to Rebecca, to Portia Colbed, to Amy Hayes, Frida Hayes, Morris Hayes, Stacy Hayes, Claudia Treos, the Exploration of Explorations, Audrey Dahlgren, Alex Sims, Nick Mantis. We also say hello to thee and hello to ye. Yeehaw. Shuck them chickens every day. Doodar, doodar. Brad Shepard. Hi there. We also say hi to Ivy McKellen, Nick Ricada, Taylor Stevens, Lydia Cornell, the whole gang on Twitter, and of course to my friends on the gram of Instant Insanity. Anyway, we got a scoreboard to do. So let's do the scoreboard. Okay. Okay, like, wow, man. It's time to end this little tete-a-tete with the only tete that we know of here on this broadcast, and that is the scoreboard. Brought to you by nobody, with the exception of 3 people. The crew of Scooby-Doo. There we go. Soccer and all the rest of the scores for tonight, and then we'll whisk away into the land of Nod. Okay, let's do this proper. Oh, now it's rolling the roost here as we prepare to bring you the scoreboard of the world of sport. And one day we're going to realize just how world the sports is. Anyway, Let's do this properly if we can. Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, it is the 9th. Let's get to it, shall we? In the Premier League, it was Tottenham over West Brom, 1-0. Leicester City over Wolverhampton, 1-0. Manchester City and Liverpool tied at 1. Aston Villa over Arsenal, 3-0. In the German Bundesliga, it was Wolfsburg over Hoffenheim, 2-1. Bayer Leverkusen over Mönchengladbach, 4-3. Italy cities Lazio and Juventus tied at 1, as did Atalanta and Inter. Roma and Genoa 3-1. Roma won. Crotone and Torino tied at 0. Napoli over Bologna 1-0. AC Milan and Verona tied at 2. Spain's La Liga had Villarreal over Getafe 3-1. Real Sociedad over Granada 2-0. Levante and Alaves 1-1. Valladolid to Atletico Bilbao 1. Valencia over Real Madrid 4-1. In international basketball, Italy, Liga A, Venezia over Virtus Roma 89-71. Olympia Milano, who is in no way affiliated, or does they know actress Alyssa Milano? Yeah, I know. Silly pun, but we do our best. They defeated Brescia 87-56. Pizarro over Varis 85-78. In Spain, Real Madrid over Fuenlabrada 79-68. Tenerife over Real Betis 77-73. Manresa, a 103-102 win over Basket Zaragoza. Barcelona, a 92-78 win over Estudiantes. And San Pablo Burgos, a big-time winner over Valencia, 99-81. In Japanese baseball, only one game to report, and that's the Akut Swallows beating the Yomiuri Giants 5-3. 5-6-0 for the Swallows, 3-13-0 for Giants. Tanaka for the Giants gets the loss. He's 1-1. Eugenio gets the win for the Swallows. He's 5-2. And guess what, kids? That's it. We shot our wad in more ways than one. That's right, folks. That is it. And we have hit that nice little thing of 45 minutes right on the button. Plus a little time for good behavior. That's going to wrap things up for us here on the Steve BAXLEY Sports Final. Thank you all for tuning in. Monday's going to be a little bit insipidly insane, but then again, isn't the world of sports insane enough as it is? Well, anyway, Monday, we're back at it. Hope you'll be with us as well. Until then, I'm Steve the Baxman BAXLEY. May all your teams, your favorite teams, always be winners. And good night, America, wherever and whomever you may be. This has been a presentation of Mystifying Creativity Productions in association with the L2C Media Network and L2C Sports. And for everybody here at the above mentioned places, I'm Steve the Baxman BAXLEY. We'll see you on Monday night. Good night, and as always, blessings.